plotting a solution for a one-step equation on a number line. So we're given quite a bit just from the title there. So we know we're going to be plotting a solution. A solution is an answer for a one-step equation. So it's an equation that we're going to have to do one step to solve. And we're going to plot that on a number line. All right, so the titles do give you quite a bit of information about what you're going to be doing. So it says plot the solution of the equation on the number line, which is pretty much exactly what the title of the video is. And then it gives us this equation here. So then they start solving for x. And one of the main things is, every time you're given an equation, you want to get the variable by itself. If there's more than one variable, then there's usually one variable you want to get by itself. But in this case, we're just solving it for one variable. So we're solving for x. So that means we want to get x all by itself. And to do that, we have to undo whatever's being done to it. So in this case, we're subtracting 4. And I know it's negative 4 plus x, but negative and minus actually mean the same thing. Just depends on how it is in the equation. If we'd written it like this, we would just say x minus 4. But because the negative 4 came first, we say negative 4 plus x. So they do mean the same thing. It just depends on when you're given that equation, all right? So what we want to do is undo this subtraction or this negative. And to undo that, we use addition, because addition undoes subtraction. The other main thing you need to remember is whatever you do to one side of the equation, you have to do the other side. So there's always two sides to an equation if you have an equal sign. There's a left side and a right side. So whatever we do to the left side here, we also have to do to the right side. So if I add 4 over here, I have to add 4 over here. And then I start solving this, so I say negative 4 plus 4. Well, they're both 4s, one's negative, one's positive. That cancels and becomes 0. And then we bring our x down and we bring our equal sign down. Now we have 8 plus 4 and we get 12. So we got the same thing they did. I just prefer this kind of stacked method so you can see a little clearly where all the pieces are coming from. And then when we graph it on the number line, we're literally just going to get a number line and it says 12. So we're going to go from 0 and we're just going to go over to 12 and put a dot. All right, so let's go ahead and clear this and get started. Okay. All right, so we have 4 plus u equals negative 9. So we want to get u all by itself. That's our variable right now. And I'm giving you this so that you remember there's two sides of the equal sign. So we want to undo whatever's being done to the variable. In this case, we're adding 4. Be careful, I'm not actually talking about this addition sign. I'm talking about the fact that it's a positive 4 because since there's nothing in front of the 4, that means it's positive. You always look in front of the number for what to do. So if it's a positive 4, I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides of the equal sign. 4 minus 4, that cancels. U comes down. So this cancels to become 0. I just want to make sure that's clear because 4, take away 4, we get 0. And then we have negative 9 minus 4. So they're both negatives. I'm going to add and keep the negative sign. Just like if they were both positives. If it was 9 plus 4, we'd say, oh, that's 13. Same thing when they're both negatives. You add and keep the negative sign. So you may have heard me say in other videos, 2 negatives make a positive, but that is only in multiplication and division, not addition and subtraction. So be careful about that, the 2 negatives thing. You have to make sure you're using it correctly. All right, so we're going to go to the center and we're just going to come over to 13. So I have 11, 12, 13, and I just click right on top of it. And this will keep going unless I click it off. So click check, and we're good to go. I'm going to clear this, and next. All right, so this next one we have negative 2 equals negative 6 plus v. And again, we have two sides of our equal sign here. And in this case, v is on the right side. That doesn't make any difference at all if the variable's on the left side or the right side. So I say that in most of the videos where we're solving equations. It makes no difference at all. You're still trying to get that variable by itself. So I want to undo what's being done. So I have a -6 here. Now make sure you always look in front of the number to figure out how to undo it. So in order to undo -6, I want to add 6 on both sides. So -2 plus 6, well, they're opposites. So I'm going to subtract, and my bigger number, which is 6, decides the sign. If it's positive, my answer will be positive. And this equals -6 plus 6. So I have the same number and they're opposites. So I subtract. 6 minus 6 is 0. And we don't have to worry about positive or negative because 0 doesn't have a positive or negative. And we just bring v down. So v equals 4. So we come up here to our graph, and I click my dot. And I'm going to come over to 4 and click it. So take that off, click check. All right, we did that one. So one more. So we have -3 equals x plus 4. Again, always remember there's two sides of the equal sign, and we're trying to solve for the variable, and solve for it means get it by itself. I want to see x equals and then a number, or a number equals x. Again, it doesn't matter which side it ends up on. All right, so we want to undo what's being done. So I have +4. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. So -3 minus 4, they're both negatives. So I'm going to add, and keep the negative sign. And then bring down my equal, bring down my x. 4 minus 4, well, if I have 4 and I take 4 away, I get 0. And again, you can use the rules of subtraction that I've already said. They're opposites, so we subtract. 4 minus 4 is 0. And then I don't have to worry about positive or negative because 0 isn't positive or negative. It's just 0. All right, so we have our last answer here. So we're going to click our dot, and we're going to go to -7. Check. Uh-oh, what did I do? Oh, I wrote that as a -3, silly me. So I had written this as a -3, but it's not a -3 in the equation. I don't know why I grabbed a -3 there. So when I have 3, +3 minus 4, I don't get -7. I want to subtract, and my bigger number, which is 4, decides the sign. It's negative, so my answer is negative. So that was just one of those silly things that does happen. All right, so I want to go to -1. Oops, gotta click my dot and recheck it. All right, so I got my point. So we do get to do one more of these. So stuff happens as far as making mistakes. It's nothing to get too upset over. Just go back and say, what happened? What did I do? And try again. If you can't figure out what you did, just try the problem again. Just kind of ignore what you did and redo it. Sometimes that helps to find the mistake. Because sometimes it's just something silly. Oh, I didn't write the equation down correctly, or I accidentally added when I was supposed to subtract, something like that. All right, so anyways, we want to acknowledge there's two sides of the equation. And we want to undo what's being done. So I have -5. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. -5 plus 5, they're opposites. So I subtract and I get 0. W comes down, equals 2 plus 5, I get 7. All right, so now, as long as I did make another silly little mistake, we should be good to go. All right, so we finished that one. Yay.